Hello, everyone. Welcome to Under the Surface. This is Anneli Maley, and I'm here with Junior Madut. He is our special guest for this evening, and I'm really excited to hear about his life. He's going to talk through some of his life experiences. We're going to talk about basketball, but thank you for being here.
Thank you guys for having me, honestly. Great.
What did you get up to today? Did you have practice or?
Today, had weights in the morning. Had a light practice today, barbecue with the staff and the team, and New Balance meeting, and now this.
Nice. Do you cook? Are you the guy on the barbecue? Is that you?
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Hell no. Hell no. I mean, I could definitely read a recipe, but that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, you're not the guy putting together the meal.
I will be, though, eventually. I hope so.
He's getting there. So say this was an off day for you, right? What do you do in your spare time? Like outside of basketball, let's say you played last night, you got the whole day off, which is rare, I know, for professional athletes to get a whole day off. What's some of your hobbies that you pursue outside of sports, I guess?
Okay. So just thinking about a day off.
Yeah.
I'm really a very homebody type of guy, so I'll definitely be in the house, watching a movie, playing video games. That's kind of what I do, but ideally, if I step out of the house, I'm trying to go to the beach. I'm trying to hang out with friends. I'm trying to go to shops, like just typical.
Yeah.
Usual.
You know, a lot of basketball players or sports people in general say they like to play video games to like turn their brains off.
Yeah.
Like just kind of get into another world and like you're really not thinking about anything else other than just the video game in front of you. Is that one of the things you experience?
100%. It's kind of like you get so lost in the game, you forget about everything else. And I think every athlete is just competitive in general. So it's like kind of like still with the competitive juices, but just something different, I guess.
I spoke about this with Sam Frolling. He plays against his teammates as well. Do you game against your teammates? Is it like the same competitive thing? You guys keep score, that type of thing?
We haven't done that yet on this team, but I remember in college and kind of just growing up in general, that was one of the things we did for sure.
Dope. Okay, so I really want to strip it back, get to know you, where you come from, where you grew up, that type of everything. So I want to start by asking you as a kid, how would people describe you? Young Junior, he's a young kid. What would people say about you?
This is an interesting question because I feel like for me, depending on who you are, it's going to be dependent on what you say about me, you know what I mean? So based on the environment, like I can be quiet and be humble and be nice. So some people be like, oh, he's quiet, he's nice, he doesn't really talk too much. But other people will be like, yeah, he's loud and reckless. And childish at times, you know what I mean? So it kind of depends on who you are, but I think I have a lot of different sides to me.
Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
And what would they say about you?
Okay, they'll say I'm childish. They'll say, because I'm the youngest in the family and I've always kind of had my way with a lot of things. So I've just always been goofy, a little smart, you know?
Yeah.
Like Junior's that little smart ass kid.
Being the youngest in the family, would you get up to like a lot of mischief? Like, can you tell us of any stories of when you were younger that would maybe give us an insight to the type of kid that you were?
Oh, a story. Let me think. I don't think there's necessarily one story, but you could just get an idea based off like the fact that I would do things like, you know, hide the game away from my brother because I couldn't play, or, you know what I mean? Make fun of my sister and pull little pranks on my sister as a kid. So just like little things like that, I guess.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up, I don't know. To start from the beginning, I guess I was born in Africa, South Sudan. Grew up there till I was about 6. And then moved to Sydney, Blacktown, Sydney, and just grew up there and kind of moved around a lot. I think I went to like 6 different high schools. So I was always in different places, different environments, and I always just had to adjust, I guess.
How did that affect you, like all that moving around, like in terms of like, you know, social life, sporting commitments, that type of stuff? I moved around a little bit when I was in my later teens, but like as a younger kid, having to move around from spot to spot to spot, what was that like?
So I think most people would say that that's like hard and, you know, it's kind of tough on a kid. But like for me, I think I genuinely I enjoyed it. Like I was excited to go into a new environment and try to adapt, you know what I mean? So there was one point in my life, I'm in the countryside, you know, understanding that lifestyle. And then I'm back in the city and then you know, to the States. So I feel like all the places I moved around in my life kind of just overall helped my knowledge and just, you know, just wisdom of life, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like having to, as a young kid, having to adapt to a bunch of different scenarios that does help you in your later life, especially now as a professional athlete, having different experiences and different situations thrown at you left, right, center, being at college, going to different states all the time. Like it does really help you adjust to your later life, I guess.
For sure.
So basketball for you, was that something that you started kind of getting into when you were in South Sudan, or that was something that...
No, actually, not at all. I don't think I even knew what basketball was in South Sudan. That's what's crazy about everything. But I used to play, the main sport there was soccer. So I grew up playing soccer. And even when I first came to Australia, like I was like, I want to be a soccer player.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing all the time. And kind of what all my friends around me was doing, my family was doing. And then I think when I got a little bit older, like my brother started playing basketball and, you know, I kind of wanted to do whatever he was doing. So I'm just following him around, trying to play basketball with him. And then I'm just watching players like Kobe, Tracy, Allen Iverson growing up, and I'm just getting excited about the game. And kind of fell in love with it really late, like kind of like 13, 14 years old. That's when I kind of took it real serious.
Yeah.
But before that, I was just like, just a regular kid playing any sport, like doing anything really.
Yeah, do it kind of anything where you can be running around, just acting a fool.
Yeah, anything to get me out of class.
Literally, if that wasn't at school, signing up for every single possible sport, so you didn't have to go to school that day.
I would do anything to get out of it. I think I took a acting, dancing, like little classes like that, just because I didn't want to sit in a classroom.
Yeah, sitting still. That was like
Yeah, I'm a very. Yeah.
You're a doer.
Yeah.
You're a doer. I was kind of like that as a kid as well. I really struggled sitting down in class. Even at uni, like I struggled to do anything that involved me just sitting there and staring at a screen or like listening to someone drawing something on a board. It was just never, I like to be out doing stuff. Like maybe that's what makes us like such great athletes, because we're able to like not zone in on, you know, just sitting down. We need to be up doing something, perfecting something, like zoning in on a craft, like that type of thing. It's interesting. So what was your, you know, you say you fell in love with basketball a little bit later in your life. Your first like playing experience on a team, like a rep team or whatever, what was that like for you? Like, do you remember your first rep team? Like, is that too far in the memory bank?
No, I actually do remember that, because I think it was under my first rep team. I think it might have been under 16s, Blacktown Storm. And I had not played for a rep team prior to that. I did not play much organized basketball in general. And I just remember just being real nervous about that, like, because it's like a whole different type of game. Like now you have referees, and people, you know what I mean? Now all these people are trying to tell you what to do and stuff. So it's like you kind of had to adjust. So I was nervous for sure and scared as well. But, you know, I think once I got out there and just started playing and having fun with it, I just started to enjoy it a lot more.
Would you say, like at that age, you felt that basketball was like a supportive community for you? Like that was something that like you felt like embraced and
100%, especially where I was growing up, you know, especially within my community, you know, there's just a lot of different avenues that could take you the wrong way, or influences that could take you the wrong way. So I feel like, and anyone that knows me can attest to this, I feel like basketball steered me in the right direction. You know what I mean? It gave me something to look forward to every single day after school, instead of like finishing school and then doing anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. I think it was a getaway for me, mentally and emotionally. And I'm just grateful for basketball, honestly.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like, for a lot of people, it's what saves them from going in opposite directions.
100%.
Like, and you know, that community, it's something that, you know, we always want to give back to. And I guess, is that something that maybe in the future you'd like to do, like give back to that community?
100%. I think that community is a community that made me who I am. So I'm always grateful. And I mean, hopefully in the future when I'm in a position where I can do a lot more, I hope I can do that.
So post your kind of junior rep stuff, as you are developing into the person that you are now, you have had some experiences, college, national team stuff. Could you tell me one of the experiences you think as a basketball player and as a person that has affected you the most? in a positive and or negative way?
Okay. I can go to my first trip to America because initially, before I went to college and all these things, I went on a AAU tour with a Team Live On in 2015 or 16.
Yep.
So I went on that tour and I was just kind of shocked because I had not seen that much talent, or you know what I mean, or so many people so dedicated to this sport. You know, it was just like eye-opening for me. I was just like, wow, like, you know, these kids are going hard. They're my age, but they're going way harder than me. And I'm seeing kids my age jumping out the gym, kids shorter than me jumping out the gym. So I'm just like, I'm like, okay, I'm not as good. I'm not as good as I thought I was.
Humbled.
Yeah,
Be
I was
humbled.
like, I'm not as good as I thought I was. And I think that moment it kind of clicked for me. I was just like, I got to work way harder. And ever since then, I think I've had that same mentality, just like work harder than anyone else. And I think it's helped me.
Did you, like, before you had gone over to America, like right before you made the decision to go, was that something you knew you kind of always wanted to do, a pathway you wanted to take?
Honestly, no. I think when I started playing basketball, I was genuinely playing for basketball for fun, but I just noticed my peers, certain people just going to high schools in America. And, you know, you're on social media, you see kids that you know or heard of, and they're doing things, and you just like start to realize, like, this could be a possibility for me, and it could be something that you want to do as well. So I think seeing other people take that route, it just kind of made me want it more, and it made me want to pursue that more.
At that age, were you able to separate yourself from, you know, the basketball, the sporting life, whatever, from like who you are, or you were still just like Junior, the basketball player?
Absolutely not. I think, and I'll be honest, I think that separating myself from the basketball side of myself, I think that only happened to me like last year. Prior to that, I think I was always, that's just who I am, you know what I mean? And I couldn't see myself being anything else at a time. Like, there might have been other interests that I did have or hobbies that I wanted to pursue, but I thought to myself, like, no, this is my main focus. If I don't put all my energy in this, it's not going to work, you know what I mean? And I think that's a misconception that a lot of people have. But that's just what I went through. And I think last year, getting older and kind of looking back, I'm like, you know, there's definitely more to life than just basketball.
Yeah. It takes, you know, actually you've gotten there earlier than a lot of people. Some people, it takes until the end of their careers to sit there and be like, I am more than a basketball player. Or like, not just specifically basketball, soccer, footy, whatever. I'm more than an athlete.
Yeah.
And I guess in that moment last year, was there something specific that had happened to you that made you realize, like, hey, I need to find myself outside of this sport? Or were you just slowly realizing that in order to be the best version of yourself, you needed to be more versions than just the sporting side?
I think there was definitely a moment that changed that for me. It's actually when I went back home to South Sudan to visit my family, which I had done before, but I guess, you know, being older, different mindset, you see things differently. So I went back and I'm just seeing what's going on in a whole different country, and the situation, I guess, necessarily, specifically, it's hard. It's harsh. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing this and I'm thinking, like, damn, there's just so much more to life. Like, then I'm always just thinking about this one sport every day, but these people are thinking about, this guy's thinking about his next meal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just perspective in general. I think like that really changed me and made me realize, like, damn, when I get back, I got to take advantage of every single situation, or everything that I want to pursue, I should do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shouldn't hold back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess, you know, that's still home for you. Yeah. Like, for you, that connection, that is home.
Yeah.
Is it hard for you being away from, you know, a place that you call home, or it's something that you think about, like you hold it in your heart, I guess? Yeah.
Definitely. I've still got a lot of family over there. My mom specifically is still over there. So that's very tough for me. But I think growing up in Australia, you kind of you can easily forget where you come from and what made you who you are. So I think me going back and seeing my family and having them, you know, seeing that my family's proud of me, seeing that they're supporting me still, it's just refreshing, and it reminds you what you do everything you do for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it makes you excited to go back every chance you get.
Yeah, absolutely. And like almost like the bigger picture, right? Yeah. Like realizing, like, when you do strip it back, it's your why, and not just your why for playing basketball, but your why for doing what you're doing every day. Like
anything.
You got to wake up and do something every day.
Yeah.
It is your why. It kind of gives you meaning to like the small things.
The small things. Yeah. And that's something, I was actually talking to someone about this yesterday, and they were just like asking me about what my motivation is. And I just said, I think it's gratitude, like just being grateful, like seeing those situations make me grateful just to come here and just wake up and be able to play the game of basketball every day. Just little things. Yeah. Have a nice little breakfast. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like listen to some good music, just these little moments in life that I guess everybody takes for granted. Yeah. Some people don't have that luxury, so you got to be grateful.
Give me an example of some of the things that just like really kind of took you back and made you super grateful. Like tell me about some of those situations that kind of made you realize, I don't know, like grounded you, humbled you, kind of those types of things.
There's been a multitude of situations, but like I said before, seeing the situation back home, humbling, going to this America and seeing the talent, humbling. My first college, junior college team, didn't play much for my first year when I thought I was. Yeah. Humbling, you know what I mean? So all these experiences together just humble an individual in general, and just, and then what you have to fall back on is your gratefulness and the things you can always count on to be happy about. You know,
a lot of people aren't wired that way. And like when they hit things that are difficult or hit things that do humble them, a lot of it, I think, is the system that we're brought up in as athletes. But when people hit roadblocks, like they either kind of bury everything and keep growing, or they can actually look inwards, look outwards, and have a think about how the situation affects them. I think it's super rare to be able to be humbled by something, because it means that you have the ability to step outside of yourself and realize that, you know, the world doesn't revolve around you. And that, especially in sporting life, like being humbled by something doesn't mean that you're less of a human. Like being humbled by someone doesn't mean that, you don't have values and you're not enriching other people's lives every day. So I guess my question for you is, when you think about your day-to-day life and something that you want to get out of every day, like outside of that gratefulness, do you have something that you strive towards in your every day-to-day life, or are you more of a live in the moment type of guy?
I'm definitely a live in the moment type of guy. I think being present is the best thing you can do for yourself. I think the day is going to be different every single day. You're never going to have the same day. You're never going to have the same emotions, the same reactions. So I think just being in the moment and out of your thoughts as much as possible is the best thing you could do for yourself. Personally, I don't know about other people. That's just how I feel.
Yeah. I think that, like I said, it is hard to get to that point where you can say that and actually believe it. Sometimes, I remember a time where I would like say all these super wise things, and I'm not following any of that. Do you have like advice for young boys and girls about to embark on this journey that, maybe we call being an athlete, maybe we call life, whatever, advice to, your younger self, younger kids? What would you say to the people that look up to you?
I would say, specifically talking about what we're talking about, like being present and, sounding wise, but not being able to do it all the time. I think that's the reality of life. It's never going to be perfect. I think that's one thing that everyone needs to understand, regardless of what you're trying to pursue or what you're trying to do. It's not going to go, most likely not going to go the way you want. And if it does, great for you, but something's going to go wrong eventually. So I think resilience is the main thing that I can preach to anybody who looks up to me. I think that if I was to create a brand, that would be my brand, like resilience, like being able to bounce back from things is ultimate strength.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. I guess I kind of want to ask you about like the next thing is being expectation. And whether that be expectation that we put on ourselves or expectation that we feel from other people. How do you handle that in your life?
I'll be honest. It's not perfect. It's hard. It's a lot harder than it seems. Like to just, have this expectation, or don't let other people's expectations affect you. But in a world that we're in, like right now, like where everyone has an opinion, social media, everyone has an opinion on what you do, or regardless of who you are, it's kind of like once again, I feel like you just fall back on being grateful. Honestly, like you have all these expectations you're not fulfilling, but you got to look at how far you've already come and the things you've already accomplished, and understand that you're still able to do more. So always have expectations, and if they're not met, you can't get, discouraged necessarily, because that's just how life goes. I think if you just keep aspiring to do well, you will eventually.
Yeah. No, I agree. I want to take a couple of steps back and ask you about your college experience, because there's a lot of things that kind of form us in those years.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went to college. I didn't do the full 4 years. I did a year and a half at 2 separate schools. But when I was talking to Panina on our last episode, she said it was like a melting pot of emotions and experiences that shape people.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do think that's true. And so talk me through, where was your first college, and what was your experience like there?
My first college. Yeah. So I went to a junior college before I went to the University of Hawaii.
Yeah.
A college called Eastern Florida in Melbourne, Florida.
Okay. Yeah. That's a long one.
Coincidence.
Yeah.
But
that's a full circle moment for you.
Yeah, definitely. I would say my first experience, it was hard.
Mm.
That was probably one of my hardest years, because I came in with the mentality, like I just came from a prep school in Florida. I was the man on that team. I was feeling really confident. Coaches recruited me like, I want you to do this and do that. And, I had never experienced recruitment or anything like that, so I didn't know, like, it never really is what they tell you it is.
No, exactly. Exactly. I wish I could tell people that. Like, trust me, what they're telling you, they're telling everybody else.
And look, and people do tell you that. Like, some guys will be like, you're going to get recruited. They're going to tell you this. But, hey, and I'm just like, that's what happened to you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not listening to that. Mine's going to be different.
My story's different.
But then you go and you have that realization, like, this is real. This is business. This is, you know what I mean? This is, if you're producing, you're producing. If you're not, you're not. It's just that simple. And once you have that realization, once I had that realization, I was like, damn, like, this is hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, basketball was always easy and fun. Now it's hard, and now I'm stressed. And, you know what I'm saying? Now I got to try to figure this out. Like, but I think I just buckled down and just waited my turn, I think, and just kept on working hard and trying to control what I could control. And it ended up working out for me, in the end. Played more my second year, had a better relationship with the coach and everything. Yeah. But in the beginning, I would say, it was hard. It was a mental battle for me, for sure. That
stress, like, I remember my years at college as being like, when you don't play, it's like the worst feeling in the world. It's like, I suck at everything. You're like, everything sucks. I suck. Everybody else sucks.
This food sucks.
Yeah. It kind of has this trickle-on effect where everything is the worst. And I did you experience that? And if you did, how did you talk yourself out of that? Or did you have like a mentor that kind of helped you along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I had mentors. I had people talking to me and, telling me, man, keep your head up. Your time's going to come. And this is that. But for me specifically, when I was in that point of stress, I did not listen to anyone. I couldn't take in any advice at the moment. Like, I was just so caught up and heated about not playing, especially when I felt like maybe I deserved it. You know what I mean? So but that's like kind of like what we're talking about, like separating yourself from being a player and you know what I mean? Like an athlete and a human. So it's like, if basketball's not going good, my whole life's bad. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I was. I was just initially very negative, and kind of throughout middle of the season, towards the end, I kind of, came to terms with the situation. That point of acceptance where it's like, this is my situation. Yeah. It is what it is. And I just worked hard, worked through it. And, I kind of wanted to leave. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, I'm out of here. Like, I was telling everyone I'm leaving. I don't want to be here no more. But, I felt like my coach and people around that kind of knew what was going on. He tried to talk to me and tell me like, it's going to be okay, but I wasn't hearing it at the time. So it was just stressful. And coming out of it, I think it's just, I'm trying to think about what I did. I don't think I did the right thing at that time, honestly. I don't think I did I don't think I handled it well. I was angry. I was stressed and mad, wanted to leave until the very end of the season, I think. I played a little bit towards the end of the season, gave me a little bit of joy, and then I'm off season, and I was just focused in. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna let that happen to me again.
Yeah, I guess that's part of the, you know, the grind, or what we call it these days, where it's like, you know, there's this perception through media that like there's either one or two things. It's that, you know, people hit struggles and they're like, we'll just work harder and I'll just keep going, you know, I'll just go through it.
Yeah.
Or there's I hit the struggle and then I realized it was great, you know, but really the truth lies somewhere right in the middle. And the truth is ugly, and it's never this perfect like realization or this perfect peace. There's never this perfect peace, and we don't get there. And I mean, I'm still not there, and it's something that, you know, personally I'm trying to grow towards. But do you think there's like a misconception that especially as a college athlete, that, you know, when you struggle you should just go tougher and harder? And
100%. And that's where I was at that time in my life. Like, that was my formula, I guess. Like, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is not going well. Maybe if I go harder, it's going to change. Yeah. Maybe if I stay later and shoot right now, it's going to, just little things like that. You think you're giving yourself an advantage over other people, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a huge misconception. It's like, I think understanding, or as where I'm at right now, understanding your situation, accepting your situation, and still finding ways to be grateful for other things and continue to do what you do is, I think that's the best way to handle it for me personally. But, you know, it's a misconception. It's hard for us athletes to just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
think like that.
Because we compare ourselves so much to other people, and part of that is like ingrained into being competitive. And it's what makes us so good is the fact that we constantly are trying to perfect ourselves in this area. And sometimes that trickles over into other parts of our life, but we're trying to be so good at this sport or this thing. And it means that we operate at such a high level of passion. Like, there is this drive that gets us going, but we can't be up here without being down here. Like, it's a swinging pendulum. And I use this explanation all the time of like, but college is like up here all the time. Yeah. You are going hard, and it is just passion and it's anger, and you forget that like at some point, if you're operating up here at such a long time, you're gonna hit down here. Yeah. Yeah, it's like inevitable. Yeah. Did you experience that at all at your time in college? Hell, all colleges. 100%. Yeah. I
think my junior college and my Division I college were both the craziest experiences I had. Like, in terms of what you're talking about, it's like you come into practice, everyone's screaming, yelling, clapping. It's just like every day. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? And then now I'm coming to practice. It's kind of like, you know, you just do it. We're just playing basketball. It's like all that extra stuff doesn't matter. But in college, you get caught up in all that hype and all that other stuff. And eventually. I
know exactly what you're talking about. Like, it's the other stuff. It's the other stuff. It's so not just basketball. It's training is so intense, because if you are not so extra all the time, it's like you're called out for it. Literally. And it's not until like, and I remember thinking like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to be. Yeah. Like, I need to be doing this. Yeah. But then I'd come home and like I'd be training with the WNBL team or something, and I'd be like, wait.
This is not even real life.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
My Hawaii coach, and if he hears this, it's cool because that's my guy, but he's wild. When I first met him, we did not get along whatsoever because I was always very quiet. You know what I mean? Not like, I'm not trying to do anything extra. Literally, I'm just trying to play basketball and go home. Yeah. But he was like, nah, like, you need to come in and bring energy. I need you to, you got to be the loudest. You got to do this. You got to do that. I'm like, why is he asking for all this other stuff? Like, all that matters is I'll put this ball in the hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I hear you.
And then, you know, I just had to adapt. You know, it was like, either don't listen to him or listen to him and play.
Yeah. So, or don't listen and sit your ass on the pine.
Sit on the bench and, after that, not long after that, I'm coming to practice. Yeah, you're the loudest clapper there. Let's go.
You are the loudest person there, the hypest person.
You just have to do it, and that's just what college is. Like, I feel like it's like that everywhere.
Yeah, it actually is. I'm so sure. Like, I'm convinced that.
I still don't understand it. Nope. But, you know.
it's some things we just have to accept. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand America, but like, I
Yeah.
mean, who am I? Who am I? Like, that's just me. That's just me. I do want to move on. I do have some questions for you about playing for your national team and like FIBA qualifiers, those types of things.
Yep.
So for the people that don't know, like, when was your first time playing for the national team, and what were your experiences like?
My first time playing for the national team was the Afro basket, I think in the year before.
Okay. Yep.
And that was, in July. That was like the first Afro basket that South Sudan had ever participated in, because they're a very new country, like I think newest country in the world. So this is basically our first time forming together as a team to play in the Afro basket. And, you know, I get there, I see familiar faces. You know, I see Luol Deng, who's a legend. I see Royal Ivy, who's a coach at Brooklyn Nets. You know what I mean? So that experience for me was amazing. I was like, oh, this is a great environment, and be around your people, and especially people you might have grown up with or already know, and then as well as like great coaches who are cool people at the same time. Like, it was just a great mental break for me, like especially coming from that college environment where I'm always yelling and all this extra stuff.
Like, no one understands me.
Yeah, and then I get there and I'm just like, oh, you know, this is kind of comforting, and it was good. It was a great experience. We didn't win, but we did enough to make some noise and put ourselves on the map as an African country, and it was special. It was a special experience, special to do that with my brothers and people that, you know, come from where I'm come from, and we all doing it for the same reason. So it was just a fun experience. A lot of jokes, a lot of laughs. And Rwanda is a beautiful country. So I'd never been there before. So it was amazing to experience that too.
I remember watching it. And like, I remember the noise that you guys did create. Like, there was a lot of conversations after it. You were all over everyone's social media. Like, I can't remember what interview it was. One of the players said, like, we're here to put South Sudan on the map.
Yep.
And I was like, well, you have. Like, it was like a really powerful moment. And I guess for you moving forward, like, you want to continue to be involved in those experiences. Is that something that you want to do moving forward?
100%. I think South Sudan is very, you know, near to my heart. So anything I could do to help, and especially doing what I love at the same time, is just like, I'm going to do that for sure. And I think we're building something special right now, you know, and it's kind of been a long time coming, because there's always been talent, always been some sort of like, we could have created something a long time ago. We just never had the resources, funds, and connections and all these things. But it's all coming together now, and we're seeing the vision, and it's just going to set up a beautiful future for the younger guys. Yeah,
I do you feel like this sense of, I don't know, like full circle? Do you think that you, looking back, if you were to tell your younger self that was something that you were going to achieve, you would never have believed it? Hey,
no, 100% no. I didn't. Yeah, I had no idea. I feel like I had like a blank mind as a kid. I didn't really think about like my future. Like, I feel like everyone was stressed about their future. Like, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about tomorrow. You know what I mean? So yeah, 100%. Like, even there's moments now when I look back and I'm like, yeah, life is crazy. Like, how everything just kind of just happens, and how you just work hard, play basketball, and you get put in so many different situations and meet so many people. So yeah, life's crazy. That's all I can say.
Yeah, for sure. And then moving into like this is your first year as a pro. Like, this is your first year doing it professionally. Like, this is what we work towards, to be able to live off the game. What has this experience been like for you so far? Like, playing Southeast Melbourne, like the guys you're around. Like, do you remember your first day of practice? Like, tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so with Phoenix, it's kind of different because I trained with them prior to me leaving.
Okay,
so with the staff and all those, like, I kind of knew those guys already, but I had never been in a situation where, like, you know, like anything I did matters. Like, I was just a training player, like, no responsibility. So when I first came, you know, it was just that professional adjustment I had to make, like, you know, doing everything right and trying to be on time and doing this and doing that, and they're sending me all these messages. I'm trying to talk to like 6 different people. I'm like confused. So in the beginning, it was just like everything was everywhere. You know what I mean? Especially when I first got back from school, because I didn't have a place and all these things. So I'm just worried about life in general. I'm just trying to figure my life out. Once that was good, I think we got to practice. Imports didn't come in till late. So we were just going hard preseason, and then everyone comes in, and yeah, it's been fun. Like, I can't even complain. Like, everything's fun. Like, the guys I'm around, the best guys, I think, like, they're one of the best group of guys I've been around in a long time. Like, everyone gets along genuinely and just willing to help and just learning so much and just, you know, just enjoying and trying to get better every day. So it's just fun.
Yeah.
I think I'm just focused on the fun right now.
Yeah, I think that, you know, some people say that your first year in the league can be like super, super hard, but I remember mine being like really enjoyable. Like, like it's kind of like a massive growth and learning experience. And I kind of want to touch on something you said just before about like, I mean, really you step out of school and then all of a sudden you're thrust into life.
Yeah.
You know, you got to worry about like where you live.
Yeah.
And, you know, that type of stuff, you know, and, you know, people say it's like your first year of actually being like a real life adult. Person, adult. Yeah. So was there anything that you remember specifically where you're like, oh, I forgot I had to think about this stuff?
Yeah, a lot of things actually, because I feel like you're right. Like, it's definitely my first year of real life. Like, I've kind of let basketball take care of me for the past 5-6 years, to the point where I haven't paid no bills. I haven't had a real job. I hadn't had to think about, you know, a car or anything like that. It's just like everything's kind of already set up for me. You know what I mean? So coming into this situation, like, yeah, you find this place, you got to pay this bill, you got to pay that bill. You know what I mean? You got to get your car, you got to register it, you got to get insurance. I'm just like, man.
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, this is too much. Like, I'm genuinely stressed.
It's like, you think, like, how many years of school did we do? And no one ever told us this stuff.
No one ever told me. No one ever told me about how to do my tax or anything like that. So it's like, it was crazy. But, you know, luckily for me, like, I feel like I said, I had a great group of guys around me. Like, you know, my vets was always there for me. Like, they kind of seen the situation. They're like, yeah, he doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
He has no idea what he's doing. Like, so that, you know, come and give me a little tip, like, hey, do this, or like, oh, you can find a car here. You can, you know, you could buy this furniture from here. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I feel like, I'm grateful for them in that sense. I think they made it easy for me. You know, I don't know how other rookies went through it, but I think with them helping me, it was easy. But yeah, it was definitely like an eye-opening moment. Like, damn, like this is real life.
It really is those small things, like, you know, you talk about like taxes and insurance.
Even going grocery shopping.
I was going to say that. Like, grocery shopping, knowing that, like, I mean, I moved into my own place earlier this year, and how many forks do I buy? To knives and spoons? Like,
my cousin actually came over from Sydney. And I really feel like my auntie sent her, but I'm not trying to, you know, accuse anyone of it. But yeah, she just came over and she's just like seen my situation. She's like, yo, you need to get this. You need to get that. You need to get this. Why don't you have this? And I'm just like, I didn't even know I needed any of this. Like, you know what I mean? When I was in college, that stuff was just in the house.
You're like, how did that get there?
Yeah. So now it's like, it was crazy, but it's been fun. Like, I think I'm getting more comfortable now and kind of excited to keep doing more though. Yeah.
I have it written down here, and I asked you about it before. When it says, I was looking up things that you do outside of basketball. It's modeling was one of the things we came across some pictures of you modeling, doing some IG stuff.
Hey, this is if anyone is listening to this, I'm just gonna put this out.
Plug yourself. Go ahead.
I'm ready to do anything. Whatever you need me to do. You want me to wear a hat? Let me know. Like, it's whatever. Bag, handkerchief.
You could model it. You could
tissues,
model all of it.
Anything. I'm ready.
We'll see if we can put those photos on the cover of what we're talking about right now. Is that, you know, that sort of stuff, is that a new hobby of yours, or just kind of, you know, you're just happy to go with the flow of it?
Yeah, that's what I think I'm just happy to go with the flow of anything, honestly. Like, anything at this moment, kind of any situation I can put myself in where I can learn something new or try something different, I'm doing it. So if I can do that and it's, you know, and it goes well, then I'll do that. You know what I mean? I don't really mind.
Do you have like, you know, I know you said before that you're kind of a day-to-day person. Do you have like some goals, I guess, outside of basketball where I know I have said it before, like for a lot of athletes, it's buying a house so they have a home, or is it, you know, wanting to travel to a certain place or opening a business in something, or do you have any sort of outside aspirations? Like, and it could be something like a value Like you want to be able to cultivate more trust within your friendship groups, those types of things.
Yeah.
Like what does that look like for you?
I think, there's just a lot of things that I want to do personally, kind of like too many different things sometimes, but I think just the main things for me is taking care of my family and kind of, because my family's kind of separated right now. We got people in this country, that country, this country. So just kind of being able to bring us all together at some point, I think that's something that's a goal for me already right now. And just giving back to my community too, like whether that's back home or here, I think that's just kind of the main goal for me because, I wish I kind of had that growing up. You know what I mean? Kind of an older person who was doing something like this to just be there for me or support me. So if I can do that for another kid and, help their situation in any way I can, like, that'd be great.
Feeling like a role model and that like you can be seen by the people you need to be seen by. That's so important, that sort of representation, that sort of kind of advocacy for, like you said, like you needed that when you were younger. Being that person to those younger yous, I kind of ask the question sometimes of like when you go about your day to day, is there things that you want to be doing so when those kids look at you, they know that you see them too?
Ooh.
That's a deep question.
That is a deep question, and it's almost confusing. Yeah. I think, well, for me personally, I think what I do already is I try to talk to every kid or try to make them feel seen. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when you're a kid and you're seeing a person, and it's crazy for you to say that I'm a role model because sometimes I don't even see myself as that yet. You know what I mean? It's like
the best ones never do. I'm telling you that.
Like when you don't feel like you've accomplished enough, or little things like that, you just kind of don't see yourself like that. But then, I guess when you see kids seeing you like that, excited to see you, like even when I go to these camps or like, just hearing like, oh, my friend hit me up like, oh, my little nephew loves you, bro. You know what I mean? And it's just,
I know what you're talking about.
It's just crazy to hear stuff like that. And I think just the best thing I can do is just give every kid a chance to communicate and let them feel like I'm your friend. You know what I mean? Like if you see me, like I'm saying hi to you, like you saying what's up, I'm saying what's up. We'll have a little conversation. Like it's not much, but I feel like as a kid, if I was a kid and I had that moment, that would be a special moment for me. So if I can create those moments with a lot of different people, that would be great. Yeah, you understood that question perfectly. That was exactly what I was. Yeah, I was so confused before. I was just as I was wording it, I was like, "Is this gonna?" Well, I was just shooting. And you scored. That was perfect. You hit that nail on the head. And so, I guess this is a question that kind of it's in community, it's in life, it's in whatever. The gaps in our system for I'm talking about the streamline of being an athlete from juniors to seniors to professionals, or when I ask about the gaps that you see, maybe that's in involvement, maybe that's in we don't talk as much or equip people with mental health, with financial stability, with what are the gaps you see in our system that we call basketball? I'll say that there's definitely a lot of gaps. And, I'm kind of like basically, how do I say? What's the word I'm thinking of? What do you say when you're in? Okay, I'm an example of these gaps. Because you feel me? Like, I think I fell through the cracks. Like, I wasn't in no state teams. I wasn't in Australia teams. I wasn't in none of those situations. But now all those kids that were in those situations were in the same situation. You know what I mean? And I had to kind of take a different avenue. So I think identifying talent is a gap. I think that's one thing, just like understanding what you can work with. Like if a kid is athletic and tall, like you can work with that. You know what I mean? Whereas, I feel like here, like they're looking for the skill before that, the, raw talent. And involvement too, like there's definitely a lot of kids in situations where it's hard for them to get involved in basketball because maybe they're not financially able to pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, thinking about my situation when I was young, like I only played rep because someone else paid for me. Like if they didn't pay for me, I would have never played rep my whole life. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, that's exactly what I was asking. Yeah. So it's like, I think in that sense, it's like, I guess sympathizing with other people's situations and trying to help and trying to involve everyone, because that's that's where America separates themselves from us, because if you're good at basketball in America, you're going to play basketball, regardless of your situation. Whereas here, you could be good at sport. You don't have the right situation. Yeah, you don't have the right situation. You don't have the right, money, the right support, the right this. You could just fall through the cracks. So I think those things are important. Those are some things that we need to address.
Yeah, I mean, even you being who you are and getting to where you are, the path that you went, you're highlighting those gaps in the system.
Yeah.
Like that is, putting the spotlight on more people that have gone about stuff different ways to know that it's not all a linear straight line and that you can go, whatever, but it doesn't mean that that's the wrong path. But it just kind of highlights that there's a problem in our talent identification, in our community involvement, in our support system. And I guess as a senior, as a professional, as someone who's now out on the other side of it, is there gaps now you're looking at in the professional level? I think when I asked some other people these questions, they said that there was a gap in the ability to support players that are going through stress or mental health, things like that. Do you see any gaps in the system at this level, or you feel like you're still figuring that out? Yeah,
I think, I'll be honest, I think I'm still figuring it out. I don't really understand the system as well yet, but I couldn't talk on, mental health because I haven't had that issue or anything. I haven't seen anyone with that issue, so I don't know necessarily, but yeah.
I also think that when you mentioned before, like how you've got the vets that are helping you kind of assimilate into this life of a professional athlete, like they're paving the way for you to then become that person to the next kid.
100%. And that's kind of the things they told me. They're like, yo, my vet did this for me. So you're just kind of like paying it forward, you know what I mean? So just because of them doing that for me, like I know for a fact when I'm in that situation, I'm going to look out for my rooks. Yeah,
I think that's awesome. I guess the last thing I'll kind of ask you, actually second last because I got two questions, is there something that people don't know about you, like that wouldn't expect? Like, do you have any hidden talents?
Oh, no, I hate these type of questions. Like, it's like, because look, if I say something, I feel like someone's going to do some research.
Yeah, they're going to ask.
And really find something that very, very bad. But, you
don't have to answer the question. You can say.
I'm just going to say this. And all the people that know me from like before would know what I'm talking about, but I guess you guys won't know, but I used to dance.
There we go. You reckon we could find a video of it? Because Ray John Tucker, he said the same thing, and he actually sent us a video that we overlaid.
I have a video, but you're not going to see the video. The video is crazy.
I'm sure you'll get a lot of people asking you to dance after this.
No,
I'm sure.
I'm not trying to go back to that. I was young.
Yeah, look, we've all been young once. I get it.
Just trying stuff,
Yeah. And I'll end on this, like being now on a platform where you're quote unquote role model, people see you. How do you think people see you versus who you actually are? Is there a difference, or do you think you're seen as the real junior, like that is who you are?
I think that's actually a tough question. I don't know how people see me. Like, I have no idea. I don't feel like I don't even think about that sometimes. But I would say, like, I think that my teammates and the people that are close to me see me as who I am. Like, I'm just always joking around, and I genuinely feel like the young kids, like even when I go to the camps, like they kind of know how to act when I'm around. Like they just kind of give me a different handshake, so they know I'm chill and joke around. So I mean, I would hope they see me as a very chilled, laid back person. But I have no idea. That's just a tough question.
I think, honestly, I think that's the right answer, because sometimes, I mean, for people that have had a lot of media exposure, sometimes you feel like you're painted out a certain way.
Yeah.
But more and more, like the people that I find I like to have these conversations with are the types of people that are so authentic that it is seen through every outlet, you know, like it kind of seeps through the way they interact with people on camera, off camera, kids at camps, in the street and the grocery store. Like that's the type of authenticity that makes people kind of real and that there's not this massive disconnect. So, I mean, if you feel like you're seen for who you are, I guess that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, I
you know,
hope
just
so.
being authentic, like being yourself. And, I mean, you're so early in your career, like there's so many places you could go. And I know I said that was my last question, but I guess I have one more. Like your career aspirations, do you have any massive ones that you're looking forward to long-term, short-term, or like, is there anything in there?
I think for me, like, I think I just set out, like even this year, like I think I set out a couple goals for myself that I wanted to achieve just to give myself an idea of, you know, what I'm trying to do. And I think that's just what it's going to be, just goals every year. And wherever that takes me is wherever that takes me. But I think I'm just more I'm more goal orientated and just thinking about fulfilling this. And if I take care of that, all the other stuff takes care of itself. So
yeah. I love it. I love that. Well, I wanted to say thank you for kind of sharing parts of your story. And I do think there's so much more like that we could talk about. There's so many more different avenues we could go down. And like, I really mean it when I say it, like you know, just before we talked about how like you represent the gaps in the system, you represent so much more than basketball. And like, even through this short conversation, I hope people can hear like there's the you, then there's the athlete, like you as a person. You're going to have a really amazing career in whatever it is, like basketball, modeling, you know, to all those people out there that want to hire for that.
Make sure you get that one. I like that one.
Yeah, but you know, you come across a really passionate and genuine person, and these conversations are really important because it just reminds people that there's always more to us than just, you know, putting a ball through a hoop and running up and down a timber floor. 100%. Like, it's the journey behind the athlete, the person behind the athlete that's the most important. And I know we only scratched the surface, but I'm so glad that you let us kind of deep dive in a little bit about your journey. And I'm excited for people to listen to this too, because I'm hoping that for people that, you know, have maybe had a similar journey to you or a similar journey that hasn't been stock standard, that kind of listen, relate, or maybe they're going through that now and they're like, wow, okay, I can come out on the other side. So it's really important. I'm really excited though. And thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your story. And until next time, this is Anneli Maley and Junior Madut with Under the Surface.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.